which I erased, my job function is to be able to tell the state, hey, if you don't take these people seriously, if you don't take their, quote unquote, needs seriously, you might lose the political position that you have, because it's not just their community, right? Their community affects my community, and then, you know, during the civil rights protests, it wasn't just black people, right? There were a ton of Jews there. There were a ton of white people there, right? There were a ton of people that supported the movement that themselves weren't black, right? When you get to that level, where people outside of your community want to back you, want to back your movement, want to back you for no interest of their own, that's when you know that the politicals got to start to take note. Politicals caught in gridlock playing games all day, oh, well, we'll just, you are totally expendable. Out with the old, in with the new. That's how that works. That's how that works. And the populace is a fickle group, right? So don't get it twisted. Like, I'm not going to be able to finish this. I'm coming up on my hour mark. I think I'm going to do this last bullet point, and then I'm going to pause and have to probably reassess this. Okay, so quote, not quote. Thus, part of the process of quote unquote balancing the interests of the state requires both internal balance of interests between individual members within the state and their interests, but also, and more difficultly, balancing the potential interests of the state with the competing social interests. And I gave you the example, right? The state needs, then, undeniably, the populace doesn't necessarily need, but the state absolutely, unequivocally needs people like me. People who can tell them, and I'm not really doing this per se. I mean, my videos in a sense do this, but this, and I'm sure the state has this in some regard. It has to be a job function. I would hope there's a job function. And I'm not just talking about census takers, right? But the needs of the people, the needs of the population. Here is a growing social movement. These members of the community feel as though their interests are not in alignment, not represented within the political, and they're gaining momentum. And unless we, the political, address the needs, at least acknowledge that their interests are sort of not being represented, we stand to potentially fall out of sync with the interests of social. And if we then continue debating these questions of whether or not we're going to align, we collectively, as political, collectively are going to align our interests with quote unquote theirs, we step out of sync more. We step out of sync more. We step out of sync more. We step out of sync more until we're so out of sync with the social evolutionary process, evolution in quotes, that the social then reflects back on us and realizes that we are totally expendable. We need a new system or new people, right? At best, we need new people. That's a simple fix. Vote, get some new guys in, get some new gals in, out with the old, in with the new. And it really is that, out with the old, right? The old mentality, the old school, right? In with the new. New interpretations, new insight, new creative ways of interpreting our job function. Or, more difficultly, just real huge systemic paradigm change, right? And when that happens, you know, it's like Arab Spring in the Middle East, right? You have it's contagion. Everybody catches it because there's a collective awareness that, holy crap, we can actually do this. It's not like we're just talking. No, it can be done, right? If you don't want that political, you had better take seriously those marginalized communities, their grievances, and make accommodations for those grievances. Because if you think you don't need to address those grievances, you are next up for dismissal. That seems like a very appropriate place to stop. So, yeah, this is going to be longer than I thought it was because, you know, I got notes, but I'm freestyling it and doing this. I'm really just doing this for me and like 4 or 5 other people, which is perfect. I think today was more, this lecture compared to the first one, this was a little bit more, it was dense in parts, but I think it was more approachable a bit. And, you know, we'll vibe. Sometimes it'll be super, super dense. Sometimes it'll be a little bit more approachable. It'll be what it is. The idea is we need to recognize as either political scientists or socio-political, political, or social philosophers, the ways in which what we do addresses specifically the intent that we should have, ethically speaking, to bring balance to the political and the social. We're always trying to keep it in a state of equilibrium. As much as it's never going to be, it's always going to be out of balance in some aspects. But we want to make sure that it is balanced as much as possible. The ways in which we do that, I've discussed. And there are many, many more ways. What I hope more than anything is that you could have watched this and maybe things that I don't even think are implications, and some of them I do, I just haven't said it, you've picked up on some of the implications of the lecture and you can apply it to your benefit. But with that, I'm running out of time. So I want to thank you for taking the time to watch my videos. This does not conclude section 1.1. I have to come back and finish up the last half page on page 3 of the lecture notes, but I want to thank you for taking the time to watch my videos. I'm Dr. Jason J. Campbell. Have a good day. Okay, so I realize I'm not going to do a whole formal, hi, this is Dr. Jason J. Campbell, because this is a continuation of the last bit. I'll just make sure that I'll take care of any confusing bits on my end, but we're still continuing the same lecture. Lecture 1.1 is just going to be longer than an hour, because this is stuff that I like to talk about. We're at the top of page 3, the quote is, quote, in the analysis of political problems. So that's where we are. What I will do for myself is I'll put the section number up so that I don't lose section, so that I can look back later in the video and know where I'm at. Okay, so we're still on section 1.1. We're at the top of page 3. So to continue with the analysis, just one second. In the analysis of, this is a direct quote, right? In the analysis of political problems, right? In the analysis of political problems, the starting point of inquiry is the relation between, this is what I tell my students all the time. You can have a great theory all you want, right? But you got to sort of substantiate your theory somewhere. So a key citation is the best place to do it. An appeal to an authority is the best place to do it. If you didn't believe everything that I just said an hour ago, this quote sums up in a sentence what took me an hour to say. In the analysis of political problem, the starting point of inquiry is the relation between the government and a state, the government of a state and its subjects. It is socio-political. If there's a problem, politically speaking, you begin analyzing the problem in the breakdown between the relationship of the state and the social. It's said right there. That's exactly what that's verbatim, right? The beginning of our analysis into political problems isn't an internal dynamic. It's not a dynamic for bureaucrats talking to themselves. Obviously, bureaucrats talking to themselves within, quote-unquote, the complex. And I mean complex now in terms of edifice, and this sort of really dumb sense. Like, who really believes that a problem is going to be solved with respect to socio-political breakdown in communication, in recognition, in representation, if we, quote-unquote, the political, are talking to ourselves? Of course not. We are already in a privileged position because we represent the majority, right? Where's the LGBTI representative that's at the meeting? Where's the gay congresswoman and congressman at the meeting? Where's the gay general at the meeting? Where's the transsexual governor? Where's he or she at in the meeting when deciding? Right? They're not there. They don't exist, right? And there might be, I don't know specifically who's what and blah blah blah. I'm not a pundit. Right, somebody's got to do that job, but it's not me. The idea is like, where are they, right? Within the complex of interests, if you think of Capitol Hill as being the complex and the interests being the individual, the individual representatives hoping to appease their constituents for re-election, let's keep it funky, right? Where is there an ability in that edifice to solve